20% of the world's oil, 17% of its liquefied natural gas, trillions of dollars of global trade every year flowing through a single waterway 21 miles wide at its narrowest point. On February 28, 2026, that waterway effectively closed. Within hours of joint U.S.-Israeli strikes under Operation Epic Fury, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps issued radio warnings across the strait. No vessel would pass safely. Within days, tanker traffic had collapsed by over 90%. Oil prices surged past $100 a barrel, then $114. Economists warned they could reach $200. The United States Navy, the largest, most technologically advanced naval force in human history, found itself in a strategic dilemma, not because of what Iran had on the surface, because of what Iran had above it. Thousands of cheap, expendable Iranian Shahed drones and anti-ship missiles had turned the strait into a kill zone. Every ship that entered risked becoming a target. The U.S. had already fired over 800 Patriot Interceptor missiles in the first 72 hours of combat, at $4 million each. America needed a cheaper answer. And the answer did not come from Lockheed Martin. It came from a country that 2 years ago had almost no navy left at all. When Russia launched its full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, Ukraine's naval situation was already compromised. After Russia's annexation of Crimea in 2014, Ukraine had lost approximately 80% of its naval vessels. The country with no fleet was now at war with the country that had one. Traditional military doctrine says you cannot control a sea without ships. Ukraine decided to rewrite that doctrine. Beginning in 2022, Ukrainian engineers, working through the Security Service of Ukraine and military intelligence, began developing a new class of weapon, the Unmanned Surface Vehicle, or USV, remote-controlled, expendable, and designed to be almost invisible. The first design was called the Sea Baby. The second, operated by Ukrainian military intelligence, was the Magura V5. The engineering logic behind these vessels is elegant in its simplicity. The Magura V5 measures 18 feet long but rides only 1.6 feet above the waterline. Its hull is carved from carbon fiber, a V-shaped design that minimizes radar reflection and thermal signature. From above, it barely registers. From the side, at distance, it is practically invisible. It is powered by water jet propulsion, quieter than a propeller, no spinning blades to detect acoustically, giving it a top speed of over 42 knots, with burst speeds claimed at 54. Control comes via a redundant communication system, Starlink satellite link, mesh radio with aerial repeaters, and backup channels. An operator can guide these vessels from hundreds of miles away, from a van, a building, or an undisclosed location somewhere in Ukraine. Payload, up to 705 pounds of explosives. Cost per unit, approximately $250,000 to $300,000. The results in the Black Sea were unlike anything in naval history. In February 2024, Magura V5s became the first naval drones in combat history to sink enemy warships. Within their first year of operations, Ukrainian USVs destroyed 8 Russian warships and damaged 6 more, inflicting over $500 million in damage on a fleet that cost billions to build. The Russian Black Sea Fleet, which had dominated these waters for decades, retreated from its primary base at Sevastopol to Novorossiysk, further east. By 2025, the fleet could no longer operate freely in the western Black Sea. And in May 2025, the engineers went further. Magura V7 drones, armed with AIM-9 Sidewinder missiles, shot down 2 Russian Su-30 fighter jets from the surface of the sea. fighter jets shot down by boats. That had never happened in naval warfare. Meanwhile, in the skies above the Persian Gulf, a different kind of engineering problem was unfolding, one that defense planners had seen coming for years but had never solved. Iran's Shahed 136, its primary attack drone, is not a sophisticated weapon. It is a propeller-driven one-way attack aircraft, roughly 3.5 meters long, programmed to fly a GPS route and crash into its target. Individual units cost between $20,000 and $50,000 to produce. Against these drones, the United States and Gulf states have been deploying the Patriot PAC-3 Interceptor. Cost per Patriot missile? $4 million. This is not a sustainable exchange rate. Firing a $4 million missile to destroy a $30,000 drone means the attacker wins economically, even when they lose tactically. Every Shahed that is intercepted by a Patriot drains a finite stockpile of irreplaceable, expensive missiles. Every Patriot fired is one fewer available for the ballistic missiles that actually threaten warships and military bases. In the first 3 days of the Iran conflict, over 800 Patriot interceptors were reportedly fired. That is over $3.2 billion spent on intercepting drones in 72 hours. The math is not just unfavorable, it is catastrophic at scale. Ukraine understood this problem before anyone else, because Ukraine had been living it since 2022. Russia, using Iranian-designed Shahed drones as its own weapon, had been launching them against Ukrainian cities in waves of hundreds per night. Ukraine could not afford to fire Patriot missiles at every drone. They needed a different solution. So they built one. The Ukrainian solution is pure cost-benefit engineering, applied under existential pressure. If your enemy attacks you with $30,000 drones and your only defense is a $4 million missile, you are losing a war of attrition before the first shot is fired. The answer is not a better missile. The answer is a cheaper drone. Ukraine developed a family of interceptor drones, small, fast, AI-guided quadcopters and fixed-wing aircraft designed to do one thing: find an incoming Shahed drone and destroy it by collision. The most accessible of these is the Skyfall P-1 Sun. Its airframe is 3D printed. Its guidance uses computer vision and thermal imaging. It reaches speeds of up to 280 kilometers per hour. It uses fiber optic control links, making it effectively immune to GPS jamming. Cost per unit? $1,000. The physics is straightforward. The interceptor approaches the Shahed from the front or above. The collision at combined closing speeds destroys the Shahed's explosive payload before it reaches its target. The interceptor is lost. The Shahed is destroyed. Total cost? $1,000. The Wild Hornet's Sting interceptor takes the engineering further. A jet engine-assisted quadcopter reaching 195 miles per hour, equipped with a thermal camera and AI-assisted terminal guidance that can engage targets up to 15 miles away. Price? $2,500. In 4 months of deployment, the Sting reportedly downed 3,900 drones. The broader system Ukraine built is layered defense at industrial scale. Electronic jamming to disrupt the Shahed's GPS. Mobile radar units to track swarms in real time, interceptor drones as the first line, anti-aircraft guns and short-range missiles as the backup, Patriot batteries reserved only for ballistic threats they were actually designed to stop. Last month in Ukraine, interceptors destroyed over 70% of incoming Shaheds over Kiev without firing a single Patriot. That is the blueprint the Gulf now needs. In March 2026, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy made an unannounced visit to the Persian Gulf.
not to ask for help, to offer it. Within 48 hours, Ukraine had signed 10-year defense partnerships with 3 nations: Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Qatar. Agreements that include joint drone manufacturing, co-production facilities, technology licensing, and the deployment of over 200 Ukrainian counter-drone specialists directly into Gulf defense operations. The deals cover Ukraine's complete defensive system: Interceptor drones, electronic warfare units, SIGINT identification systems for detecting incoming threats, and training for Gulf operators on the same tactics Ukrainian forces have refined under 4 years of real combat. Not theoretical combat, not war game simulations. 4 years of nightly drone attacks. 4 years of figuring out what actually works. The strategic reversal is striking. Gulf nations that had been paying Russia for energy and carefully avoiding alignment in the Ukraine conflict now find themselves turning to Kyiv for the technology they need most urgently. The same Iranian Shahed drones Russia has been launching at Kyiv for 3 years are now falling on Riyadh, Dubai, and Doha. Ukraine didn't build this technology to sell it. They built it to survive. The fact that it is now the most sought-after military technology on Earth is the consequence of solving an engineering problem that no one else had the urgency to solve. As negotiations over the Strait of Hormuz continue, the weapons that may ultimately reopen it were assembled not in a Lockheed Martin factory in Fort Worth, but in workshops across Ukraine, built by engineers who were running out of missiles and had to invent something cheaper, faster, and better. Modern warfare has long assumed that superior technology wins: bigger ships, smarter missiles, more expensive systems. Ukraine is disproving that assumption in real time. When you cannot afford expensive weapons, you engineer around them. When your enemy attacks with cheap drones, you counter with cheaper drones. When you have no navy, you build one that doesn't need sailors. The asymmetric warfare doctrine Ukraine has engineered over 4 years of existential conflict has produced, accidentally, the defense technology that every Gulf nation, every NATO member, and every military watching the Hormuz crisis now wants. A country with almost no navy has redefined what a navy can be. A country spending under $3,000 per intercept is teaching the world how to defeat a weapon that $4 million missiles were struggling to stop. The Strait of Hormuz will reopen. It always does. But when it does, the rules of the waterway and of warfare itself will have already changed. The most important weapon in the world's most important waterway is not a destroyer. It's a $1,000 quadcopter built on a 3D printed frame. Here's the engineering question for this week. Ukraine has 200 counter-drone experts deployed across the Gulf right now. If you were engineering a defense system for a critical oil terminal exposed to drone swarms, anti-ship missiles, and fast attack boats simultaneously, what does your layered defense architecture look like? Drop your answer in the comments. The most technically detailed response gets pinned. If this breakdown gave you something the mainstream news didn't, you know what the algorithm runs on. Grand structures. We build the story.